Concluding now with our last two sentence structures, we have the complex sentence, which is one or more dependent clauses paired with an independent clause. The sentence can start either with the independent clause or the dependent clause. It does not matter. Here are some examples of complex sentences. Because I was hungry, I ate 17 pancakes. So you'll notice the because I was hungry is a dependent clause. I ate 17 pancakes is an independent clause. I get stomach aches whenever I overeat. The I get stomach aches is the independent clause. Whenever I overeat is the dependent clause. Here are some non-examples of complex sentence. I was hungry, so I ate 17 pancakes. So is one of the coordinating conjunctions for and nor, but or yet so. And you would think I would stop overeating, but I keep doing it. Again, that's one of the coordinating conjunctions. So these last two are actually compound sentences. Here's the weird thing, is that coordinating conjunctions, the for and nor, but or yet so, do not attach themselves to clauses like the subordinating conjunctions do. They just kind of sit in between the clauses and don't attach themselves to either. So, in essence, the clause isn't, so I ate 17 pancakes. The clause is, I ate 17 pancakes. So is just there as a connecting piece. That's different, again, than the subordinating conjunctions, like whenever. Whenever attaches itself to the clause that follows it. Whenever I overeat. And that becomes one dependent clause. So if you see those coordinating conjunctions, do not include those in your clauses. They are separate. So for this practice, you are now circling the subjects, underlining the main verbs, and you're drawing a star over the subordinating conjunction. You are now able to label the simple sentences, the compound sentences, and the complex sentences, which we'll use an X for. So go ahead, do this practice. Once you have finished, once you have finished, come back to the video to check your answers. Pause now, please. So this is what we come up with. I'm, as we've talked about, is a contraction standing for I am. I is the subject, am is the linking verb. If we continue on, we see that we have another subject, anyone, and an action verb, asks me. Before anyone, we have the word whenever, which we have said is a subordinating conjunction. So we have a independent clause, then connected to a dependent clause. So we have a complex sentence for number one. Moving on, we've got another I'm, so that's again subject and linking verb. And then we have Howard as a subject and is as a linking verb. And before Howard, we see the word because, which is one of our subordinating conjunctions. So we have an independent clause linked to a dependent clause. That is a complex sentence. Number three, we offer technical courses and give iPads to all of our students. The subject is we, and we are both offering and giving. Notice that there is not another subject here with give. So we only have one pair of subject and verb. When we only have one pair of subject and verb, that's an independent clause alone. That is a simple sentence. And in this last one, we have people as a subject, are as a linking verb. Then we have Howard as a subject, does as an action verb. Then we have I as a subject, and we have am as a linking verb. That has three pairs of subjects and verbs. And there is a subordinating conjunction tucked in there too. So that's a lot going on. That's more than what we've talked about so far. This is an unidentified sentence structure. We haven't talked about it yet. It is a compound complex sentence. As its name suggests, a compound complex sentence is made up of a compound sentence and a complex sentence. It therefore must include at least two independent clauses and at least one dependent clause. This is what they end up looking like. I would have bought the cheese that you like, but it was too expensive. So we have I would have bought the cheese, which is an independent clause. That you like is a dependent clause. But it was too expensive. That but is a coordinating conjunction, so it doesn't really attach itself to the meaning of that clause. We end up with it was too expensive. That's independent. Another example, while the kids were walking in the hallways, they were very loud, and the teacher shouted for them to quiet down. So here in this example, while the kids were walking in the hallways is a dependent clause. They were very loud is an independent clause. That independent clause is linked to the next one with the conjunction and. So the next clause ends up being the teacher shouted for them to quiet down. That can function by itself. It is an independent clause. So now you are circling the subjects, underlining the main verbs, drawing a star over the subordinating conjunction, and you are now able to label each and every sentence as either S, simple, as C, compound, as X, complex, or as CC, compound, complex. Pause the video and do the practice. Come back when you are ready to check your work. All right, so we end up with, I can't wait to get home from school because I am going ice skating. We've got the subject I, the verb can, and then we've got subordinating conjunctions because, and then the subject I, and the verb am going, since that has that has an independent clause and a dependent clause. That's a complex sentence. Then we have friends as a subject, will be as a verb. That's the only subject and the only verb in that sentence, so we know it is a simple sentence. Then in the next one, we have the subject we. We have the verb will ice skate, and then we have another subject we, and the verbs will go. So I've got two pairs of subject and verb, so I know I'm working either with a compound sentence or a complex sentence. The thing that connects these two clauses will determine which one it is. Here in this case, it is a coordinating conjunction and. That and does not attach itself to either clause, so those clauses are both independent. And when I have two independent clauses, I have a compound sentence. And then in the last one, after we get home, after is a subordinating conjunction, we is a subject, get is an action verb. Then we've got I as the next subject, am going as the helping and action verbs. And then we have it as a subject, will be as a helping and action verb. So I've got three sets of subject, verb, subject, verb, subject, verb. That's a big hint that I'm working with a compound complex. And sure enough, we see that I have the subordinating conjunction after. That makes the first clause dependent. And then I have the coordinating conjunction but that is connecting these two independent clauses. Two independent clauses and a dependent clause means that that last sentence is in fact a compound complex sentence. So go ahead now, do your last checkpoint for this LEQ. In Schoology, you have as many takes as you need to get a perfect score.